Okay, all jokes aside, like, this episode was really amazing. The actors did an amazing job. I mean, my favorite scenes happened toward the end, of course. But like now, we come here to joke. We are joking. We're having fun. I just like to say that it was just really wild to see Rand whip out them jumper cables, attach them to on Sarah's body, and just like he really revved that engine. Like Moiraine was like, "Mama, mama, mama." Moiraine was like, "Mama." You really did, and like you thought you was Storm, girl. You thought you was an X-Men. You thought I half expected Professor X to roll out. You know what I mean? After you done zapped Samael like you was Zeus, girl. You thought you was Storm. You thought you was Ororo. All right, y'all. We're not gonna waste any time. Let's get right to it. So we start out, and I love this one. I love every single opening for these episodes have been so good, right? So we start out 95 years ago. Liandrin, she's young, she's being held captive. Of course, we can see that she has had her captor's baby. Liandrin's trying to hush him. She's like, "Girl, please don't bring him in here, girl. Please, can you please just be quiet? Anybody got some duct tape? Oh my gosh." You know what I mean? And so, of course, that doesn't work because it's a baby. Like, of course, like it's a baby. So, and he comes in, did he say that he was going to drown it? That he wanted to drown the baby or something like that? I think so. I was like, all right. So, girl, Liandrin let me tell you something. Liandrin said, "Not on my watch." It's given very much Iyanla Vanzant when she said that. And she put holes in their heads like they were about to say Azeroth, Metreon, Zinthos. Okay, like, do you hear what I'm saying? The way she stomped on his head afterward, too, for good measure, I was like, yes, girl, you need to go and find you some heavyweight clogs. I'm talking about tap dancing shoes with some metal razors on it, all right? And you need to you need to do a whole jig on his head. Don't play with me. So, of course, she's begging for help in the streets of Gotham City. And of course, nobody cares, right? They're just like, "Girl, if you don't move out of my way, I'm late for a meeting with Two-Face." Like, they were mad. So she falls asleep at that statue, right, of the man in the A-Dom, only to encounter Ishamael in the dream, exploiting her at her lowest. Like, "Oh, do you need any help?" Like, well, yes, Ishamael, the teenager that you watched be held captive and have to have their captive child. Yeah, well, yes, they do need help. Like, girl, what you mean? So, like, I like that we get to see into Liandrin's past like this. It helps us make sense of her actions, as well as what Baron told Moiraine, right? That one time where she was just like, "Girl, like, it's good sisters, like good Judys that I knew for years that are turning out to be like dark friends." And so I like to see how something like that could happen, right? So we see Liandrin in the dream, and she's like clearly imagining herself as the Amberlin, and which Lanfear clearly finds hilarious. And so she pulls up on her. Lanfear pulls up on her, and Liandrin, she's like, "Okay, girl, I did what you asked. I stayed in the tower for as long as I could." And so, like, it's just crazy. Like, imagine Ishamael showing up to you, telling you to do one thing, but then Lanfear shows up and saying something else, and it's just like, oh my gosh, one or the other of y'all gonna end up killing me anyway, because I have to obey all of y'all, and all of y'all want different things. It would be just so scary, right? Either way, like, Lanfear's looking out for Ravine and like just other Forsaken, right? And I love how Lanfear immediately seats herself on the Amberlin seat and places Liandrin beneath her foot. Like, oh my gosh. So Lanfear looks good in the seat, though. Like, she looks good. So Lanfear says 5 sisters sworn to the shadow is too fine a prize for the others to overlook. Find out which one of them he's gotten to. Okay, and Liandrin is like, "And do what?" And it's like, "Liandrin, why you asking stupid questions? You know what you want you to do, girl. You sweaty oats, girl. Like, please stop playing with me." Lanfear's like, "Kill him, dog. Girl. You will have till tomorrow." Imagine you have till tomorrow to kill one of your girls. Like, okay, I mean, all right, girl. I'd just like to say that Moghedien is so nasty, so disgusting, so nasty and so rude. Woo, so nasty. She literally lobs a loogie in them folk food. Like, oh my god, she's just disgusting and perverse. Just as perverse as it can be, girl. Oh my gosh. And then she got that bone thin, oh my gosh, bone thin boomerang bang that she's sitting on her head like a satellite dish, girl. I'm talking about direct TV, girl. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Just perverse. So anyway, anyway, inside we learned that the statue, the shackled man, is older than Tenchiko itself, of course. That's kind of what I was like talking about in my previous videos. Check them out, yeah. So that's why only part of it, the man kneeling down, still stands, right? Because the full statue had two women to Aes Sedai standing with the bracelet behind this man, basically controlling him. And so this, to me, this is likely right after the breaking. This is what I think it comes from, like right after the breaking, when they had to get the man under control. Obviously, like they were using a male Adon to do so, and maybe they were just like, girl, maybe the reason why we don't see it a lot of this anymore is just like they were just like, they got to a point where they're like, all right, we just need to steal him and kill him, steal him and kill him and get him out of here. And then of course, we will learn, without giving any spoilers, right? We will learn more about the male Adon and how it is different than like the one that's used on the Damane and stuff. There are differences that make the lore interesting, and it makes the usage. It's I can't spoil it, but there are differences that matter, is what I'll say. So yeah, Liandrin, she wants them to find the other two pieces because they have one bracelet already. They need to do it tonight or our master will be displeased, is what she says. Moghedien, of course, is in the shadows, like Lanfear's in the shadows, eavesdropping. Right, Nynaeve and Elaine are talking about the Black Aja, and they also want to find the collar, obviously, before the Black Aja do, before the Dark Friends do. And so Matt and Min come in, and they laugh at Nynaeve, like, I'm just like, but girl, Elaine is like, don't worry, y'all gonna have the veils too, it's all right. So they plan to go to the night market to figure out, like, the tea, like, what's going on. So, and it's so funny watching Elaine say that she and Nynaeve will be subtle, knowing that, like, by the end of the episode, she gonna be literally dancing on the bar and singing and stuff. Like, oh my gosh. So Egwene just comes out and admits that, hey, guess what? She's not Aes Sedai, you know, and the wise ones have confronted her also about entering Teleran Rigod again when they asked her not to, right? So in the books, they confronted her differently, and I wish we had time for how they did it in the show because, like, you know, it was cool, is what I would say. Like, it was cool how they confronted her about, you know, going into Teleran Rigod again without their permission. And I'm sure you might be able to guess, like, how they do it. But, you know, we cannot. There's like only 8 episodes, y'all, so we just got to take advantage of everything we can. I'm sure some people will be mad about this particular change, but we only got 8 episodes, y'all. Like, we got to go. So Egwene was just like, all right, girl, I know y'all mad, but, like, I need to be able to stop Lanfear in Teleran Rigod. And Bear's like, okay, let me tell you something. You're not going to be able to do that. Like, you cannot go against the Forsaken, like, in Teleran Rigod. You might stand a chance in your own dream. You have power over your own dream. And this is a point that she tries to stress to Egwene over and over throughout the episode, right? Now, this starts out with Moiraine. Listen, I went through this already because they released this particular scene before they dropped the episode. So I made a comment about how Moiraine looks like she's posing for a magazine instead of sleeping. I'm like, Rosman is just eating. She's eating. So, you know, she's closing her eyes. All right. And then we see Lanfear. All right. So Lanfear is here, and she got on, like I said before, the way that this gown is just, I need to go shopping with Lanfear. I don't know what kind of dark department she be going to, what kind of dark store she be going to, whose dimension she be going to, but I need to go with her. So Lanfear is here, and she's saying, guess what? You've been hiding from me, Moiraine. I feel like you scared of me. Like, what's going on? What's the tea? Moiraine was like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, girl. You are literally one of the Forsaken. She looked at her like, okay. Imagine the Forsaken looking at me asking me why I'm scared of them. Like, girl, please, move out of my face. So Moraine doesn't answer, but I mean, you can tell by the look on her face yeah, I am scared. So Lanfear clocks it. She's like, wait, what did you do? What did you see in Ruidian? And Moraine, I'm sure she's thinking like, well, I saw you chew me up and spit me out, girl. I saw the wheel grinding me to dust, girl. What do you think I saw? Lanfear, 3,000 odd year old self want Egwene. You know what I mean? Young adult, young 20-something year olds. She can't keep a handle on Egwene, girl. Like, you are 3,000 years old, Lanfear. How long you gonna keep doing this? How old is Lanfear, girl? She said to Moraine, can you please keep Egwene away from my man? And Moraine is like, well, I can't really force her to do anything. Egwene is another mother as well. And like, I can't just, force her. She will resist that. Lanfear is just, I guess, stating the obvious, where she's like, I worry that you're trying to stay useful to me so that I don't dispose of you too. Or dispose of you. And Moraine's like, Moraine's face is like, well, yeah, what you mean, girl? And so Lanfear says, I'm sending a little surprise, let him handle it. And so I was wondering when they first dropped this clip, like I said before the actual episode dropped, I was like, I wonder what surprise Lanfear has. And obviously the surprise was letting Samael know where Rand was and what he was doing. And so you see Moraine sigh like, oh my gosh, like, why won't this woman leave me alone? It's like, this is a mess. But clearly what Lanfear was talking about, like rewatching this, and so clearly she's talking about letting Samael know where Rand is. And so what that does is, to me, is two things. It not only will force Rand to step more into his Dragon Reborn-ness, like his Luz Theron-ness, it will also kill Samael, and which Lanfear will certainly see as taking him off the board as a threat to her. You see what I'm saying? So remember, she was talking about when they met up, and when the Forsaken and all them met up. I forget which episode. In the beginning of it, I forget which episode. She said he was the weakest among them, or something like that. I think she said that, and they didn't disagree. So it seemed like that was true, and so maybe Lanfear was like, all right, this is not, I feel like Rand knows enough to be able to, like, if Samael at least came at him, he would be able to completely defend himself and wipe him out. And so that's why I think Moraine was like, he will handle it. It will be quote unquote fine. But of course, Forsaken fine is not everybody. Forsaken fine is not everybody fine, girl. Really loved seeing how the Aiel grow their crops. We see Alcera here, that girl that Rand has grown fond of. Of course, it's so cute when she asked if shepherds take care of sheps. I was like, oh my gosh, because like, of course, I remember like being young, learning the strange language that is English, and you're just like, but it doesn't make sense. And the adults were like, well, I know. But no, so that was fun. So she's growing her squashes and stuff. She shows them off. She's growing her stuff. During their conversation, Rand touches her spear because she's training to be a maiden of the spear. And that's a big no-no, right, in Aiel culture, which I think I kind of would have put together. I'm just not going to be touching nobody Glock. I'm not going to be touching nobody Glock, nobody weapon, nobody stuff. I'm done. You know what I mean? But it gives wetlanders in the waist. It gives white people in the waist. Because, girl, it gives Moraine, when she picked up the Sakaran, she said, I'm going to take this little artifact. Thank you. And also Rand, when he asked her if her spear was a shovel, I was like, oh, girl. So Rand was like, okay, I owe you toe. And so the penance is that he will be harvesting what she's been growing so she don't have to do it. And I will kick, you know what that bragging rights would be? I would kick back, get a beach chair, kick back, kick my feet up, and watch the Dragon Reborn harvest my stuff. Can you imagine what you would have, she would have been able to brag about, girl? Pour one out. So they bring Perrin back, and of course he's wounded, and they're like, oh girl, where's Aes Sedai, where's Alana? And they're like, well girl, you're not gonna believe this. but she was channeling, she chose not to do it on the cover. channeling, big channeling, doing all this big fog. I guess she thought she was Storm too. Everybody think they Ororo today. And she got shot up instead of doing it hiding behind a brick wall or somewhere. Like, she had 2 warders. She had 0 at that time. She was used to 2 warders. I mean, it was just a mess. I was like, it's looking really bad for my sister because, like, she in the 2 rivers and all they got is a cot and some rough sheets, girl. No shade to them. No shade, but, you know, I'm scared. So the crew is out in the streets looking for info. It definitely seems that Matt is bi and flirting, girl. I don't care what y'all say. At this point, I am of the limp wrist community, and I know him when I see it. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm claiming it. I'm claiming it now. Especially with the way that Matt was talking to Ishmael. Get into it. Matt hears Tom singing about the Horn of Valir and gets up after he prods people for info. Tom, it definitely is not as happy to see Matt as Matt is to see him, which is hilarious. But the promise of a drink and the fact that Matt said that he'd tell him who blew the Horn of Valir gets him to stick around. So it was fun to see Nynaeve and Min joke around and try to get Nynaeve to loosen up a little bit, you know, like, come on, girl. So Min gets a vision and she tells this guy that the woman he just met with dark hair and she loves to wear green and stuff. She says, hey, guess what? You're going to marry her. He's like, what? I just met her. What? What's going on? But later, Min tells Nynaeve that she's going to kill him. Like, and I'm guessing that obviously that, like, that's the black oxen that was green that she talk about. Leandrin, of course, suspects it's Naomi who's working for Ravi, but she comes and asks if she can do a more precise weave than the one she did with the child bride. But Naomi's like, girl, maybe in the Age of Legends, girl, maybe you could contact somebody over there, but or the Forsaken, but that's it. What is Moghedien doing? What is she doing? What is she doing? What is Captain America's Frisbee bang? That's look like Captain America's Frisbee sitting on top of your head, this bang, while you spitting people food. All right, what are you doing, mama? All right, so the wise ones are like, your dream is your domain, Egwene. Try to push us out. And she tries. And she thinks she does, but we later find out that it was Lanfear, hun. And immediately she's in her demonic garb. And she's like, Lanfear's confronting her and say, hey, sus, woman to woman. Hey, Barbara, this is Shirley. Woman to woman. Did you like what you saw when I was giving Rand hickeys? Did you enjoy that, honey? And so while I was giving Rand hickeys, I was making an Adam give you yours. Like, girl, they were going at it, girl. They were going at it. And although at the same time it looked like they were about to kiss and stuff, I was like, are we supposed to be aroused by this scene? Well, I'm here for it. I love their chemistry. It was fun. But then Egwene says, if Rand knew you laid your hands on me, and like that definitely gets a rise out of Lanfear, right? Because before, Egwene was like, well, Rand doesn't know who you are. And Lanfear's like, girl, he does. But when Egwene says, well, he doesn't know what you do to me, she was like, rah, 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 and start choking her out. And then she was saved by that brass pin because, girl, she was about to get into her, right? But the wise ones get up, like after she gets up out the dream, the wise ones say to Egwene that, hey, guess what? You didn't push us out. Lanfear snatched us out and we couldn't get back in. And on top of that, Bear is like, look at me, girl. Look at me, sister. She holds her hand. Like, it's like the girl. For Destiny Child, like she's not there, like, oh my gosh, and it's really 3 of them. But Bear really tries to get through to her that, look, like, sis, you have to truly believe that you are more powerful than this woman. You have to truly believe that she cannot hurt you. And so, like, Gwen kind of gets it. She's like, all right, girl, let me try again. I'm like, all right, my sister, that's my sister. All right. I absolutely love this scene with Rand and Moiraine so much. Moiraine is still clutching at this Akarnan, like, girl, put that down. Like I said before, Moiraine, you are in grave danger. You need to give me the stone. Put that down. And she tries to hide it real quick, but Rand clocks it immediately. right? And so Rand's like, you haven't spoken to me since Meridian, Moraine. And Moraine was like, I've been listening since Rand told her that he was training with Lan because Lan listens or something, whatever. So I thought it was funny. But Rand asks what she saw in Meridian. And he asks, do I go mad? And then Moraine was like, sometimes. And he asks, do I kill Egwene or you? And Moraine was like, well, sometimes that means sometimes that means sometimes. Okay? And so clearly it's just very high possibilities of horrific things happening in the future. Red clocks the Sakarnan, like I said, and Moiraine asks how he handles so much of the power. She says that she feels like when she submits to it, she's going to be washed away entirely. In the books, it's like you had to submit to Saidar, like the woman's side. The woman had to submit. And then the men had to fight Saidin, or fight to dominate Saidin. And it's just like, so people are going to have a problem with the show changing that or changing, even though to me it's not really, I don't know, I'm queer. So some of the strict men versus women stuff in the books and dominate and submit and all this stuff, there's a lot of stuff that I am about. So when it's changed in the show, I don't really care. You see what I'm saying? And I like that Rand said it's the one power, right? It's okay, Saidar, Saidin, whatever, it's the one power. And that he's learned from the Aiel and the Forsaken that they're just different ways to do things, right? So he just said, don't submit. He tells her, don't submit. I think some people might have a problem with this, but I don't. I think that some things have been changed for a 2025 audience to digest a little better. I don't know, y'all. Like I said, I'm queer, so some of this stuff in general, I like when it's changed anyway. So whatever. Some of the stuff I don't have a problem when it's changed. So he's like, if I did not fight Saidin, it would have been washed me away. So he's like, and see, he starts channeling, shaking the ground, the atmosphere. I like how, because women can't see men's channeling, and so I like the effect of us seeing the ground moving and tremoring without seeing the weaves. That was fun too. But Moiraine has to kind of get him to calm down, but he tells her not to submit, to fight, right? Lan was there hearing the whole conversation the whole time. I'm sure he's concerned, right? Because after Moiraine almost burned herself out, he's just like, all right, what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? I absolutely love seeing Perrin and Fael talk. I just think they're such a good pair when it comes, the actors are so good with each other. I think they're both so attractive. Oh my gosh, Perrin is so fine with these arms and stuff. I'm like, okay, what's going on now? But in this conversation, Perrin talks about, accidentally killing his wife. Fael talks about being raised in a military family. She ran away from her mother, who swore dark oaths to kill her brother, threatened her, basically, wanted her to swear her dark oaths. So I just like we're getting their backstory together. Really cute. I do wish we had more time to spend, on these kinds of scenes, especially because, I wish Perrin had more time to talk to Fael, about that. I think, it's just 10 episodes at least, y'all. But it was cute. What we got was cute. So, the White Cloak still got that lady corpse up, and it's just like, oh gosh. Padan Fain comes in, it's just like, hey girl, I see y'all struggling. You look like y'all need some support. Y'all going through it. And by the look of this man, yeah, Padan Fain, right, girl, y'all go through it. So Tom keeps saying he doesn't want any part of what Matt's horn-blowing self got going on with the Dragon Reborn. Although at this point, it's too late for Tom because, these people around you are Taviran 100%. So, I don't know what to tell you. So he tells them to stay away from Liandrin and then questions why Elaine is here. Tom says he recognizes her because he was in her mother's court a long time ago. And of course, there's more to it than just that. So I was really gagged that Elaine took her veil off in the middle of Tanchico. I was kind of gagged. Because it's like, girl, you are the daughter heir, right? And someone recognizes her. By now, she's being held by knife point. Because, don't act shocked. Tom basically saves her by pretending that she's his intern or something. And Elaine basically has to prove it and sing. And so they gave us the hills of Tenchiko. Like, I was getting my line. Do you hear me? I was getting my line. I got up. It was so cute. The actress sounded good singing. I loved the euphemism they had for like the hills, like meaning boobs. Like, these hills will flatten a whole man's crew. These hills will make a man out of you. It gives very much like olden days, my humps, my humps, my humps, my humps. You see the euphemism? I love it. I love it. And also this line, where one is enough, three is too plenty, and two bring a man to his knees. I think that's what it is. I just like how you can relate it to the two Aes Sedai or female channelers being needed to cage one man with the Adom. Like that, I thought it was just fun. It was a fun song, right? And the right length, they gave you a cute little bop, and they're like, all right, let's get back to the story. So like it was perfect. Nynaeve and Min are here talking really loudly about Leandrin, and they're lucky it wasn't an enemy who overheard them. Well, I guess enemies did. Black Asha did at the end of this scene. Either way, this guy tells them where Leandrin is staying and the rumors about her, so Nynaeve pays him or gets him a drink or whatever and says, like, tell me more. So Miss Black Asha sees here and she sees what happened. So Leandrin knows that Naomi found something, so she pulls up to her bedside and is like, hey girl, guess what? Guess what, mama? Taps her on her shoulder. Guess what, mama? You're shielded. Tell me what you found. Naomi's like, look, it's in the palace, girl. Like, I know where I can help you find it. I have powerful allies. Obviously talking about the Forsaken. Leandrin is like, guess what, girl? I know you're probably playing around with the Forsaken too, but I want to become one of them. Guess I get them out of my face. Girl kills her. And then our sister, Ispan, here saw her do it too, and she's like, she's like, she'd been on a mission for Leandrin, so Leandrin asked her to tell her what she found. Moving on to Alana, she tells Maxim, like, guess what? I want you to pull that life support plug. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. But Maxim refuses. He just lost Ivan or whatever. Like, he's going to be a mess. And he's going to be an absolute mess if he loses you too, right? But Matt's siblings come in and, they're like, well, she tried to save us. I heard the Aes Sedai's hurt. Like, I thought Aes Sedai can heal, but Maxim's like, well, honestly, they can only heal others. And so I love how Alana Sedai guided them through the process. The flower bud speech. It was so, I was like, oh, it's such a cute moment. Alana tells Maxim, like, okay, well, see, I told you there are strong people here. I do like the idea of them healing Alana. I do wish it was like only partially though or something. I mean, but at the same time, other people have done things that they've never tried before with the power in the books, like for the first time, doing crazy things. So it's not really that big of a deal, but it would have been cool if they like only halfway healed her, or like just because, I don't know. Either way, it was such a beautiful moment that like I'm letting it slide. Oops. Perrin tells Fael about his like wolfiness, right? And he's like, you don't find it weird? You don't find it weird? No, Perrin, she finds it hot. Perrin, she's getting flustered right now watching you sit right now with these arms out discussing this. Yeah, what are you talking about? Oh, do you find it strange? No, she finds it hot. Then he comes clean about the horn and tells her how Matt found it. Matt blew the horn, and she's like, you just let me go on and on and on about this. And then he just kisses her. I was like, oh, ooh, ooh, Fael, need to save some for the rest of us. Back up, man. Fael, we can work out a deal. You can have him on the weekends. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can have him on the weekends. We can work something out. All right, Alana said, I'm sorry for interrupting, but you needed some healing? And yeah, he did, and you wouldn't have guessed it the way they was getting hot and heavy. I was like, okay, I guess he ain't get stabbed. So Min and Nynaeve walk in on Elaine shaking her heels in the middle of Tanchico. Like, what happened to staying discreet? She was like, look, I had to do what I had to do. So they tell them they found out where Leandrin is staying. So this guy pulls on Matt here, right? When they're about to leave. And the way that Matt reacted was like pleasantly surprised, like with this flirty little smile. Like, I'm so sorry, y'all. Matt is bi. Sorry. But this guy says, I looked for what you told me to look for and I found it. My father keeps a bunch of old stuff around the house and says it might, or shop or whatever. It says it might be worth a fortune one day. Elaine asks, okay, so, if there are 2 bracelets, does that mean that there are 2 collars too? And so this where Tom is like, wait, I thought you were the expert on Tanchico history, girl. Like, the statue has missing parts. We need 2 bracelets, but only 1 collar, essentially, just telling them about the Adom. So now I'm keeping my dark skin tally, y'all. Like, season 1, I've been making a point that this show is definitely better with diversity than most other shows out, but I'm wondering if I'm seeing a pattern when it comes to dark-skinned people on the show dying brutally, dying first, being dark friends, or being evil. So I don't know, but yeah, Moghedien senses that she was waiting for one of the Forsaken, Ravine presumably, so Moghedien threatens her, and she ends up saying it's Liandrin. She found out about Naomi, and she wants to become a Forsaken. And also, 2 of the 5 that the Dark One is hunting are in Tanchico. That's what she tells Moghedien. And then Moghedien kills her horrifically. Yes, it was in Teleran Ryode, but girl, she's dead in the waking world. The actress for this, Black Aja, definitely ate, like, because I felt that scream. Like, I felt that. All right, so Nynaeve and Elaine talk about planning to watch the estate to see where Liandrin goes next, but Moghedien comes in and does a sickening weave of compulsion or whatever, complete mind control. Like, this scene was acted out so well, it was so tense. It's one of those scenes from the book you like really don't forget reading, because the audience at the time, like in the books, like knows that she's Forsaken, but the characters, it's so you're just like, oh my gosh, this is Moghedien and she has them under her spell and they have no idea who she even is, right? But Moghedien basically gets them to spill their guts. She tells Nynaeve, you've blocked yourself. Why? And Nynaeve has to answer it truthfully, so she says, well, I'm scared of all that power. I hate it, I think. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Nynaeve, I hate your block. But Moghedien old self gonna give her back in my day. We used to beat that out of y'all. I'm like, oh my gosh. So they end up telling her while giggling that they found the second bracelet today. And Moghedien tells Nynaeve to go get it. But when it's time to hand it over, Nynaeve resists it. And so, of course, Moghedien notices that. And she acknowledged Nynaeve's strength multiple times. But she says that, hey, guess what? I don't like giving Ravine what he wants. And so at the same time, I feel like she's seen that Nynaeve has been useful and she's powerful. If anything, I could enslave y'all. I don't have to kill y'all right now. So she says, anyway, you won't remember that I'm here, just that I went to the wrong room and left. After the girls try to figure out what happened, but there is a new cut on Nynaeve's face and missing time, right? And on top of that, a missing bracelet, right? I would have definitely assumed like, okay, we got snuck by one of the Forsaken. I would have been like, it's one of them. This fight between Egwene and Rand was crazy because it's just like, apparently the actors directed themselves in this scene. It just really works really well. Egwene was just like, girl, not only did you cheat on me, but you did it with a Forsaken, the very enemies we've been out here trying to fight and hide from. Like, or what are you talking about? And Rand is like, oh, girl, you don't understand. You don't get it. You met the wise ones and haven't given me a second thought, blah, 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 blah. It's like, girl. Egwene's like, all right, let's just skip to it. Do you love her? And then she says, oh, it must have happened already. And I thought by that she meant our separation, our breakup, the break in this relationship must have happened already. But then she says, the madness. I was like, oops. Oops. And Rand says, the truth is you don't want me. I'm not enough for you. And Egwene, I think, looks at him like this because she's like, yeah, girl, you about to go mad anyway. Like, let's just. Then she asks, did you know that, like, Lanfear was doing this to me the whole time, torturing me as the Sultan in my dreams? And Rand is genuinely shocked. Of course, he starts channeling, like, rumbling the place again. And I almost think he's going to try and pull up on Lanfear, like, right then somehow. I don't know how, but, like, right then. And in comes Samael with Aiel that are clearly sworn to the shadow or whatever. And he says, you've gotten soft, loose Theron. And has this big hammer that he makes out of, like, from his staff out of the one power. And Egwene's like fighting off the others, looks so amazing. Avienda comes in here with them flaming spears channeling. I was like, yes, God. Samael blasts them outside and tries to strike at Rand, but he powers up. Do you hear me? And he puts this crazy shield to block the attack. And then listen to this. He don't even turn around, bro. Like he don't even look at Samael. He don't even turn around. He looks at the camera. Hear me? And he calls down strike after strike of lightning. Like I said, he thought he was on somebody's X-Men team really bad. Imagine getting defeated and your enemy got their back to you, didn't even look at you while they blasted you with lightning. Yeah, listen to me. It was so amazing. It was so good to see Rand's face when he was bringing that thing down. It was so good. But then we realized that his strike had caused Alcera's death. And it's really just the saddest thing, right? This is referencing in the books happened after a battle that the show is clearly saving for later, because they moved things around, but it still gets across the same feeling, the same emotion. Like you could just sense Rand's absolute devastation and desperation as he tries to bring her back to life. And Yosha's acting here was exceptional, especially when he says, "What does the prophecy say?" And he starts laughing with this maniacal edge that's going to be fun to see more of from the actor later on. He says, "I bring destruction, but also creation." And then his face changes and he tries again, but Moiraine has to stop him. Like, sis, this is not going to work. I'm so sorry. But I do like that she was there to comfort him. Like I said, Rand and Moiraine's relationship, it's so interesting to watch it evolve over this season. But yeah, that was so sad. That was so sad. But like, I wonder if that's gonna be like a turning point where we gotta be a little more precise with the one power. We gotta. I don't know. Moghedien was freezing this guy's. Remember, Moghedien, to create the Gray Man, she was freezing someone's blood or something. Like, I don't know, y'all. We gonna need a little more kind of like these precise attacks instead of these Power Rangers explosions in the back. I don't know, but I mean, we still need dramatics because this is a TV show anyway. So Faile and them see a bunch of Trollocs coming out of the gateway. And they're like, all right, well, Perrin is definitely going to have to get to work, whether he likes it or not. And so we're setting up the battle that's coming next episode. Y'all, this was so good. They're eating me up. I just feel like every episode gets deeper. The lore gets more fun. The writing is strong. And the actors are performing down. The effects look cool. The battles are fun. I'm getting my life. Y'all, this was long. I gotta go edit this. Thank y'all so much for watching. Love y'all so much. And I'll catch y'all later. Peace. Make sure that you're going to www.zeraxia.com. When you join the waitlist there on the site, you will be the first to be notified when I drop my sequel. Also, you'll immediately get chapter 1 of my upcoming sequel of the upcoming book sent to your email as a PDF. So check that out. Also, this is a different excerpt from my upcoming book. So you definitely want to pause to read if you're trying to get your life. Keep in mind that this upcoming book, this sequel, is following up the first book that is already released called Zeraxia, Wrath of the God King. I released it a few years ago. It was my introduction to writing fantasy and stuff. So just go easy on me. But either way, as you can see here, it's given 4.9 stars. So yeah, check out Zeraxia, Wrath of the God King while you wait for Zeraxia, The Vengeance of Coldwind, right? And go to Zeraxia.com, sign up, join the waitlist, get your free chapter. Thank you so much.